Hello, and welcome to the second episode of For the Glory. I'm your host, Axe Chris. In the previous episode, I discussed the former Kaiser's sacrifice to stop Magnus's advance into Elysium, and Kyle, the boy who ascended into the role of the new Kaiser, along with his basic kit and first job skills. Today, we'll be briefly going over any plot points between first and second job, as well as the skills that you'll be getting. To further describe information during showcases, I will be implementing a new visual element style when describing skills. I'd like to keep the style moving forward, and I will be returning to episode 1 to update this. I would like to also issue a correction to something I said back in the first episode. In regards to the Dragon Link system, I meant to clarify that using the system post-4th job is practically useless. However, using it to charge the gauge faster in first, second, and third job is completely fine. These changes, along with others, will be going into the whole series after the last episode releases. As for story, there's not too much lore to discuss. As soon as Kyle walks out of the Great Temple, he talks to Velderoth, wondering where Tyr went. Kyle then heads to the Elysium hideout. The trio's fort in the woods to comfort her after the relic incident. She tells him she feels dumb for supposedly ruining the relic. Because Kyle is such a thoughtful gentleman, he decides to get her some shiny rocks because
I'll get the girl some rocks. Girls love rocks.
After grabbing some, he realizes
She doesn't want rocks. I'm gonna get some flowers.
And then heads back to the Elysium hideout. Turns out, she wanted rocks.
What?
She runs away, Velderoth immediately coming in and challenging Kyle to a hunting race, with Kyle obviously winning. It's important to note that Velderoth seems to be a bit jealous of Kyle's recent awakening, as his attitude becomes more negative towards him as time passes, acting like he should be the Kaiser, rather than his friend who seems to be unfitting of the title. And that's about it for important plot points. Let's get into skills. The second stage of the morph gauge is unlocked. Once you pass the green gradient, you'll go into stage 2, which is twice the buff you'll get from stage 1, increasing your speed by 10, jump by 20, and knockback resistance by 40. However, your attack speed will remain boosted by 1 level. Additionally, you might notice your wings growing exponentially in size. You'd think there'd be a mobility skill that involves flying, but alas, there is not, as of this recording. These are boosts to skills from first job. Dragon Slash gets 40% more damage compared to first, as well as a new swinging effect. Attacker mode gets 10% attack, 2% crit rate, and 5% boss damage. Defender mode gets an additional 200 defense. Impact Wave is a skill that attacks 8 mobs in front of you for 2 lines of attack. At max level, it hits for 270% damage. This skill will most likely be dropped post-second job. Blaze On is one of the foundation for Kaiser's standard buffs. At max level, this skill raises your attack power by 20, attack speed by 2, and lasts 4 minutes. Piercing Blaze is also a foundation skill, in the sense that this is a skill that immediately moves Kaiser forward a bit. It's an extremely useful skill for mobility when used with airlift, and even more so when used in certain bosses that have attacks that knock you back. When done right, you can negate that knockback entirely. I'll come back to this later. Tempest Blades is Kaiser's signature attack. When cast, 3 swords will appear above you. Whether or not these are real swords or projections of swords is yet to be determined, but we don't ask those kind of questions. When the skill is pressed again, said swords will pick at least 1 enemy to fly towards. If you're in a mob-dense map, they'll choose any random mob you're nearby. If you wait 10 seconds, you'll be able to stack Tempest together and launch 6 swords, if you time it right. At max level, each sword will deal 300% damage, with 3 attacks, leading to a combined barrage of 900% damage with 9 attacks on a single target. Inner Blades is a passive that increases strength and HP. At max level, it raises your strength by 20 points and increases your HP by 20%. Sword Mastery is weird. The skill supposedly raises two-handed sword mastery, but the game doesn't exactly define what that is. According to the user SNC SpuddyBuddy on the official Discord, mastery lowers the gap between your lowest end of your range and the highest end of your range. At max level, this skill increases your mastery by 50%. And that's it. Nothing too special in this set of skills. However, things will definitely be picking up at third job, introducing things like the Stone Dragon, Wingbeat, and most importantly, Final Form. And of course, any important plot details will be touched upon. How will Kyle improve on his quest as a Kaiser? What will Tyr do now that she's missed out on a whole bunch of shiny rocks? Just how snarky is Velderoth going to get? Find out next time on For the Glory.